My friends, as you know, as we are wont to do, there are times in which we hear a story and we're not sure if we're buying it. I mean, we want to buy it. We'd we'd like for there to be some truth to it, but we're not sure exactly how 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 does this thing work? How does this thing work? What exactly are the rules that we are looking at right now? And this story regarding this pipe bomb story, which is wonderful, which is great, which is fantastic. I'm wondering, and the question I have for you is: Are you buying all of this? The story is that the January 6th pipe bomb suspect has finally been identified. Now, I look, as much as we think we're in the know, we always, we know about intel. Does there anything about this make you say, like, you just found out now from 2021? Nobody gave up anybody? Nobody? With all of the CCTV, with all of the Palantir, with all of the ability to scour every square inch of social media real estate, does any of that story make any sense to you? Does that make any sense? Is it and I don't you got to understand something. It's not my default necessarily to always believe that everything is, phony and weird, and I want to believe. There's a lot that's going on right now which frankly I'm kindly well, I don't know what to say. I think there is absolutely positively the makings of what can only be described as some type of palace coup on the part of this administration. You know this, and I know this. We know this. We know that there are people. There are people who are doing everything in their power to continue to subvert this president. It is a parlor game. It is something that they are addicted to doing and caring about, and nothing has changed. Nothing. Nothing in the least. I don't know. Alex Jones has been superb. Candace Owens has been talking about something in, about a week from now? Some 9/11 type effort. There are people who are suggesting that there's going to be some extension of the Podesta plan. And I'm curious, dear friends, as to see, what do you say? What are your thoughts? Because I always go to your collective genius. And I'm not saying that gratuitously, I mean it. I mean it totally. Now, the story is that the January 6th pipe bomb suspect, a lot of us forgot about that, has finally been identified after years of confusion and a trail that went cold and then hot, and then almost immediately it just died. The FBI has allegedly arrested a man named Brian Cole, a 30-year-old from Woodbridge, Virginia. And according to multiple outlets, this breakthrough came from a fresh review of old evidence. Fresh review? You mean it had stopped being reviewed? Somebody said, let's look at this again. And all of a sudden, lo and behold, you have this new version of what exactly? I find it fascinating. Completely and totally and utterly fascinating. But in any event, my dear friends, I say, which is something interesting. This raises an uncomfortable possibility. Agents may have had enough to act long before today, and if so, the public has every right to ask why it took nearly 4 years for the most highly publicized domestic terror investigation in modern American history to move forward. NBC reports the two senior law enforcement officials briefed on the case confirmed that Mr. Cole is the subject they believe planted the devices at the RNC and DNC headquarters on January the 5th, the night before the Capitol riot. Fox News matched that reporting Both say the FBI moved in quickly, raiding Cole's home early this morning. And he is also expected to appear in federal court today, or it might have been yesterday. Now, the public first learned of the bomber through surveillance footage released by the FBI. It showed an individual calmly placing a device beside a park bench outside the DNC. The bomber's clothing, posture, and deliberate timing became iconic images from that week. Yet, none of it led investigators to a suspect until now. Better late than never. Mr. Cole allegedly authored anarchist writings. There we go. Though officials have not disclosed motive, ideology, or any group affiliation. Now, the FBI is being cautious, as you can imagine, but the silence invites deeper questions. This case has always carried a shadow of mystery. The bombs were discovered at the exact moment the country was spiraling into one of the most chaotic, if not the most chaotic Washington had seen in decades. The devices were real. The threat was real. Some former officials have even suggested that the bombs may have been intended to divert people and police away from the Capitol. That could be. Yet the investigation stalled. It just went cold, and the trail faded, and leads dried up, and the public was told the suspect walked with a distinct gait, wore specific gear, and I believe the shoes as well, and left behind physical evidence. But somehow none of this produced an arrest until today. Now, so what changed? Well, what did the FBI find that it did not see in 2021? Was there new forensic analysis? Was there a digital trace that resurfaced? A confession? Co-defendants? A cooperating witness? Or was the political environment simply different enough today and that action may become possible? I don't know. Now, that last question is already being asked in Washington. What's different now? Because, my friends, the timing is impossible to ignore. 4 years of silence that suddenly led to a name, a raid, and an arrest. And the Bureau is framing this as diligent work and renewed scrutiny, but the public remembers how quickly January the 6th became a political fault line, or football, depending upon how you look at it. And they also remember how many questions were dismissed or brushed aside. And they remember being told that the pipe bomber investigation was a top priority. Yet results never came. So now at last, finally, there is movement. But the movement opens new doors. Why did this take so long? What else was missed? What else is being withheld? And if this suspect truly acted alone, what story does the FBI believe the country will accept after 4 years of secrecy? Why? Does anybody even care? I don't even know if America cares about anything. Now, this is still developing, and updates are coming, and that's wonderful, and that's great, and I appreciate that. But more importantly, your thoughts and comments are always the most interesting. Lori Cook says, things continue to get weirder. I thought it was a girl with a limp. Who knows? Who knows? This is very interesting. Lori also says that I wouldn't be surprised if this was a distraction. LOL, who gets the reward money? You never hear about reward money. It's funny you say that, Lori. You never hear about reward monies. You never do. We never hear about just nothing. Now remember, Lori, you bring up a very, very good point. As you know, this is going to absolutely turn into one of the most suspicious cases ever. Because all of a sudden, people are going to be saying, wait a minute. Now, we, both of us, all of us, are of the position where we want there to be closure, we want there to be finality, we want something to be done. But we are of a different mindset. You see, we don't trust the government, any government. But it's not so much that we don't trust President Trump. We don't trust the groups of people that surround him. He doesn't have a Praetorian guard. He has nobody around him who can help him in any way. He's on his own. How many of you people are feeling, dear friends, are feeling confident in the president's advisors? How many of you are feeling confident? Let's talk about that in one instance. It's a very, very interesting case. But I want to talk about something now which is very, very important because, my friend, 'tis the season. And if you were looking for something, if you were looking for some gift, something that really is different, may I suggest a gift from our dear friends at preparewithlionel.com. You know, if you've got anyone that you love, what better way to say, you know, you're pretty special than to give them the gift of preparation in the event of a disaster. That's why they have their buy one, gift two Christmas special. And it works like this. You must listen very carefully. All month long, when you pick up a 4-week emergency food kit, they will send you two additional 1-week food kits, absolutely free. No strings, no gimmicks, just simple, great product. You're secure, and your focus is what's critical. And what you do is you secure your household's backup supply, and you instantly have 2 life-saving gifts to hand to people that you care about. It's that simple. Now, these 1-week kits are perfect for anyone already into preparedness. Some people think that's nutty. I don't. Or anyone, by the way, who needs that wake-up call, that nudge. One small box can turn someone from vulnerable to ready. In times like these, my friends, and believe me, they are so precarious. In times like these, what matters more is your preparation. And we all feel the tension in the air. We know that something's happening. We all see how quickly shelves go empty in the event of anything unexpected. So having food put away is no longer fringe. It is responsible. It is sane. And this buy one, gift two deal means you are protecting yourself while giving meaningful Christmas gifts that genuinely help those you love. So don't wait. This offer is only here for the holiday season. Pay attention, because once it's gone, it's gone. So go to preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com. I have a link in the description session, and I thank you immensely for that. Truly, absolutely. Now, let me talk to you about something. I don't know about you. Oh, Lori says, I can't believe they made it worse. Well, I don't know who they are. Probably the president's adjutants of sorts. Let me talk first of all about Kash Patel. What's your instinct regarding Kash Patel? What do you believe when you see Kash Patel? What do you think? What do you think? Does Kash Patel give you the impression of somebody who knows what's going on? I'm going to give you a little psychological assessment, if you don't mind. First, Kash Patel, I would imagine, is probably a good man who, by the way, loves the fact that he is now the head of the FBI. He was the guy who was kind of laughed at. I think he's an odd-looking duck. He has that rather, not strabismic eye, but he always looks frightening. He has his girlfriend. He probably has his first girl. I don't know. This country music chanteuse. That's under fire. It's very odd, very strange. He has a penchant to wear riot gear and raid gear. Have you noticed that? Laurie says, he too Hollywood all of a sudden. Laurie, by the way, speaks in a fantastic patois of English, which is so interesting. We call that cookies. It's this phrasing. He too Hollywood all of a sudden. Very Tarzan-like. And that's what makes her so special, and we thank you for that. Can you imagine J. Edgar Hoover showing up to an event wearing a raid jacket? Or the latest cool FBI hat? The latest Kristi Noem, who loves to dress in her little hair extensions and her, Charlie's Angels. But I'm sorry. It looks very immature. Bongino's been kind of pushed to the side. Hegseth wants so much to be cool. I know we're not supposed to say this, but we're going to say this. The Venezuela shooting is ridiculous. How many of you actually feel? I mean, nobody gives a damn one way or the other. But how many actually feel that our attack on the Venezuelan boats makes sense? Brasileira Mia says Kash Patel brings incompetence. Hegseth brings bro energy, and Pambani brings full swamp mode. A deep state operator working for Susie Wiles to protect the same toxic power structure. Well, I'll tell you, there's nothing that I'm seeing here that in any way indicates any otherwise. I look, I don't want any of this to happen. I don't want this to be like this. I don't like this. I want nothing to impede, Carla, our president from succeeding. But I am seeing something that's very interesting. Susie Wiles, I think, is given this. I don't know really enough about her. There's all this suspicion. See, our people love to be suspicious of everyone. Kash Patel, as long as he's loyal to the president, I'm 100%. He could be the most screwed up duck in the world, but as long as he's loyal to the president, I'm happy. And I think they are loyal. I think Pam Bondi is loyal. I don't think anybody there is a double agent. I really don't. You could argue somebody might be incompetent. I'll let others decide. But I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case. But I will tell you, in the case of Kash, how many times would you see J. Edgar Hoover or William Webster or L. Patrick Gray or anybody else standing there in a raid jacket? I don't know. There are people who are so. When people, there was a federal judge, Jack Weinstein, and he never wore a robe. He's one of the most famous federal judges in the Eastern District. I mean, famous, hard, fair, but I mean, really serious. He never wore a robe. I thought that was interesting. I like when people wear, they have different ways of showing their strap. Rehnquist wore the 3 stripes on his robe from Gilbert and Sullivan, the Pirates of Penzance. Remember this thing? Ruth Bader Ginsburg wore the ruffled. I think they all kind of did to an extent. But in any event, so I have no reason to believe that they're dishonest. They're disloyal. You have other different convections. You have, as you know, Candace Owens, who was either spot on or losing her mind. Cox says, damn it, Trump needs to pardon Tina Peters. Yes. Tina Peters what? Yes, now this is, let's get the latest on this. To make sure, is this a federal? Tina Peters, Trump releases lightweight Colorado governor to release Peter. Oppresses lightweight governor. This is a state charge, I believe. Trump demands his elderly supporter 70 be freed from jail. Tina Peters, she was charged by Mesa County. So I don't know if he can do that because I don't believe that is a federal offense. He can't do that per se. Why are these clemency coming on in spurts? Why all of a sudden? Why did it take this long? Today it is 318 days that the president has been in office. We're coming up on our first year. And they're also saying that the president he's falling asleep. You know, I think I mentioned something to you the other day, which maybe I didn't. I might have mentioned this on the air on WABC. there's something which is kind of interesting. When a person says, I'm going to call it quits for the day, like Biden did, what did they call it? They shut down. There was a word. What was that word they used? They shut down, or they had this word, a shutdown. There was a name for when they closed for the day. He basically told people, I'm done. Trump goes all day into the night. And if he closes his eyes, I'm sorry, he's not quitting. He's going to different meetings. He's not like Incontinent Joe walking around with the Easter Bunny helping him out. I mean, it doesn't. That's the part that just I look. The hypocrisy. I don't even think the left even knows what hypocrisy is. I don't think they have any sense of saying, oh, I can't say the lid. That's right. I don't think anybody is a sundowner. I don't know if people even know or if they even care. Isn't there a part of you that said, I can't go out and bust Trump's balls about this, especially when I let Biden get off the hook? Look, there's a lot of things going on. Number one, I did something, and I hope you're watching the videos. I hope you're watching my other shows and all of that stuff. And I mean to say this. First and foremost, we need something. And if I had my way, I would do the following rules right now. And the first rule I would say is, and this is very critical, we have to be able to, we must stop telling people and responding to everything that every lunatic on the left does. There are cable news shows that spend their entire waking hour, so to speak, doing nothing but talking about, did you hear what this one said? Did you hear what that one said? Did you hear what this one said? That's not news to me. I don't even care about that. I would have a rule that said, we don't talk about anything that Joy Reid discusses. Okay. But there's one thing that they do, which is the most important. And I said this and I'll say it again. We need our own George Soros. We have a lot of wonderful people out there, a lot of rich people, a lot of folks who are really big in the world of all this stuff. And there's a lot of folks who I think really would be wonderful if they could somehow help us in this endeavor. And I don't really see them as doing such. But I've got to ask the question, why not? What is happening? The first is, I mentioned George Soros again. I've done, how do I say this? I've done articles on him. And George Soros is somebody that I respect. Why do I respect him? Because we don't have a George Soros. We need one. We have more people. George Soros has PACs. By the way, here is my video, which I want you to watch. This is the George Soros one. But we have more videos, and we have more, we have more billionaires and the like, especially now with Trump having courted both and basically adopted the right. But we need somebody to say, we're going to go after people, and we're going to put up our own tough as nails prosecutors. That's number one. Number two, we need to unleash Palantir. Did you hear what this guy Karp, I believe, who looks like old Larry David, remember, with his hair? They're using Palantir programming. They're using Palantir programming to, of all things, this is the most important, go after immigration offenders. It's the wildest. This is a guy who says, we're going to do nothing but support. We're going to support those individuals who propose and promote progressive ideology. Laurie says, if anyone organizes, they get targeted. Media is enemy. Yes. But we have to ignore the enemy. Barry Weiss. Barry Weiss. Let me just throw some things out for you. Number one. Barry Weiss, that everybody was screaming about. Why? Because Barry Weiss was a very powerful, very vocal ally of Israel. There is a group of people, as you know, and they're very loud and very cantankerous, who are absolutely livid regarding Israel. Anything to do with Israel, they go crazy. Number one, let me ask you this question. Yes or no? Number one for yes, number two for no. Do you think the majority of those individuals who align themselves in American politics give a damn about the Middle East or Israel or Palestine? Do you believe that the majority, the real meat and potatoes, the actual voters, the voting bloc, give a damn, think about Israel or Bibi or whether he gets a pardon or Barry Weiss or Adelson or AIPAC, Gaza, Palestine, the Philadelphia corridor, do you think America cares at all to the point that this is an absolutely ferocious election effort? Do you believe so? Do you believe America cares anything about this? Not talk radio, not great and wonderful people, Judge Napolitano and Jeffrey Sachs and Max Blumenthal. I mean, yes, you're right about that. Crystal Ball, who, by the way, is just, watch Sagar kind of get away from her. I haven't watched him in a while, but she wants to be in that. Anyway, the answer is no. No. When I say it's not that they don't care, I say it's not a make or break. No. Number two, and this has nothing to do with politics. I'm just curious because I want to get a read. And I want to specifically ask women. Women are the smartest when it comes to this. Very simple question. Remember, one is yes, two is no. Do you trust Erica Kirk? Yes or no? Do you think she's on the level? Is she acting in a way that you think is the way widows act? I'm just saying. Or is there something about her that makes you think, I don't know. I don't know what this is about. Question is, do you trust her? Yes or no? Women in particular, do you think she's on the level? Do you think she's acting like the widow? Do you think she's sincere? Do you think any of her histrionics are not legit or that are a bit produced? Do you trust her? Do you believe so? Do you believe this? This is one of those things which is the most. There is something so strange, which is the weirdest story. There is something so, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. And I don't know how this, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not buying it. I'm not feeling good about it. I'm always suspect. Too much so. Next, do you believe there is something very, I find, and this is of no interest, most people I know don't know who she is, don't know anything. Do you find Candace Owens fascinating by where she is just screaming for attention to be heard? Screaming, pay attention to me. She's predicting a 9/11 style thing. Did I hear correctly where she said that Charlie and Erica were going to split? Did I hear that correctly? There's something that is so interesting. Someone says, not relevant at all. Tell me what is not relevant. Tell me anything today in the various vectors and concatenation of separate areas of, influence. Tell me what is not relevant. Tell me one thing that is not even, there is no such thing as that. If you don't watch something, say you don't watch it. Don't be proud of it. If you don't believe something, if it's not important to you, say so. But never eliminate something as being relevant because you don't think it is. Lori says, Candace acts like Erica should, in my opinion. I think you're onto something. Candace, I believe, was in love with Charlie. I believe that if the truth be known, Charlie was everything to her. Charlie was I believe so. When I say I believe so, I have different talk to her. But I believe that she was absolutely in love with him. And that Candace, I think she's so fascinating, wants so much to be legitimate, to be respected. She has a lot of followers. That alone won't do it today. You can have followers. You can have, but it's a very interesting. It's a fascinating subject to me, and I don't know where that's going. There's so much about the way she's acting. I think Turning Point USA, which is so sad. By the way, there are people who are she's. I'm going to say one thing. She's very reckless. People have this idea that Israel's involved. Would anybody be surprised? Of course not. Do they have a motive? Yeah. Is there any proof of this? No. There's suspicion. There's like, ooh, that looks like it. That's not good enough for me. I've never given an opinion on what happened regarding 9/11. I can tell you what the official story is wrong with it, but I don't know. I don't know. Because I'm not an intel. I'm a civilian. And as smart as I think I am, and as brilliant as I think I am, I've never been to a briefing yet. Laurie says, Candace shows true emotion for Charlie's murder. I think you're right. I think it's because she's in love with him. That's what I think. But anyway, so thank you, by the way, Laurie. You got to be very careful when you say that Obama's gay and Michelle's a man and this one's a man. You got to be very careful with this. You don't know anything. Sometimes, believe it or not, when you make somebody think, it's more important. Let me give you an example. If I said, you ever think that maybe, have you noticed all these weird kind of marriages that happen, like all of a sudden Cory Booker all of a sudden gets married? Okay. What do I think? I don't know anything. Now, when you say it makes somebody want to look at this, I think it's more powerful because I really don't know anything. I've never met Cory Booker. I have no idea. I'm very, there's one thing you got to understand something. Remember one thing. And I know this is very reckless for me to say this, but it's true to an extent. Rumors are always true. Rumors are true. And I think it's very sad that questions about sexuality are subject to, acts as though there's some kind of criminal activity. There's nothing illegal with being gay, if that's what you're saying. But anyway, very interesting. What's this fellow? Who is he? Is it Tim Scott? What is his name? Tim Scott. Remember Tim Scott? Tim Scott who? Yeah. No, is it Tim? Yeah, Tim Scott. Tim Scott married. Remember that? All of a sudden, hey, he got married. Okay. Yep, there he is. Yep, Tim Scott got married. Okay. Good. Always wondering, like, all right, fair enough. There's another one too that. Oh, Zoran Mamdani. A lot of people. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's very strange. I think that they're still actually involved in these crazy, crazy, lunatic stories about people getting forced to get married. I mean, not forced, but seemingly. By the way, I find this interesting, and I'm going to say it because it's great being. How do I say this? It's great being. It's great being just base, saying things that don't matter for whatever it's worth. But I will say this nonetheless. There's something interesting about this. There is let me see. Mrs. L sent me something. There's a lot. We have a lot of access to a lot of things, and a lot of things, and a lot of how do I say this? A lot of. That's not it. I'm going to bring this one to your attention. And many people say, "Oh no, that's that's petty." It's like I don't think it's petty. I think it's very interesting. See, if somebody lies to you, if somebody lies to you, excuse me, and I'm very suspect of people who all of a sudden, I think is the most problematic. I think when people find themselves in the position of doing these weird, I think when people have these strange. Let me give you an example. I'm sorry. I've got 40 screens open. This is very, very sad, and it has nothing to do with anything other than this. But I will tell you, there's a very sad case right now of a man by the name of Alec Baldwin, and Alec Baldwin is somebody who is, for whatever it's worth, so difficult, so incredibly horrible, what he has been through. How do I say this? So difficult. He's married to this horrid person. This horrid person. And she is desperately, this is his wife, this Hilaria, who all of a sudden, Laurie says, I wish Mrs. L wrote a gossip column. Oh, she would be brutal. But anyway, but Hilaria is this woman who basically took on this affectation, or affect, that she is a, how do I say this, that she speaks Spanish. And she has a Spanish accent. And that she is, for lack of a better word, Spanish. And she's not. And when you speak with an accent, you've got to keep up. So anyway, she went on this Dancing with the Stars, crashed and burned, and now she wants so desperately to be a star. And Alec is thinking like, I married a nut. This woman is a complete nut. She's crazy. I actually feel sorry for him. I really do. I know you're not supposed to, but he's got this. He's my age, born in 58, part of the 58 Club. Me, Michael Jackson, Madonna, Prince, Angela Bassett, him. Anyway, so that's that. You got this crazy lunatic. Then you have this Bobby Kennedy with this Nutsi. They call her Newsy, but if it's two Z's, it's TS. Nutsi. And what's the most interesting part about this is that this Nutsi woman is absolutely a predator. A predator. And she goes after him, and she's publishing things that they wrote. And I hope there's no text pictures and messages involved. And you got to ask, Bobby, if this is true, tell me it's not. Why are you doing this? Why are you involved in somebody. Next, ladies, Cheryl Hines. Does she not know? She knows what he's like. This is a poor guy. He's been through a rough life, heroin addiction, and all kinds of stuff. Being a Kennedy. Do you understand this? Ladies, if you married or found somebody or had an affair with a man who was then married and he leaves his wife for you, which is what happened. There was this poor woman, Mary, whatever. I think his wife was very mentally ill. She committed, anyway, self-harm, as it were. But you do know that if your husband-to-be leaves his wife for you, he's going to leave you for somebody else also. See, people forget that. Women say, oh, no, that was different because I'm great and I'm wonderful. And I'm the subject of a lot of people. Who wouldn't fall in love with me? Who can blame them? Remember what I'm saying. When you veer, and there's always extenuating circumstances. I know you got to walk in the moccasins and all this stuff. But there's something really weird about this. And I don't understand how a woman can all of a sudden feel weird when she herself was the beneficiary of that behavior in the first place. Anyway, I think people are children. Also, there was this idea that somehow for the first time, people are I forget what it was. That right now there's a mental illness problem called loneliness. And there's anxiety. And I think we're turning into the biggest bunch of pussies I've ever seen. All I know is temptation and stress and problems have been around the human condition since the beginning of time. And I find something so unappealing and so unadult and immature and unmasculine in particular for grown men to go out of their way to say how they're feeling upset and insecure and weak and sad and how they need their therapy parrot or whatever the heck there is. I think we are turning into children. I think the lack of commitment. If you don't want to get married, don't get married. If you're not, unless you and your spouse have some agreement. I'm going to leave you with this. I have a very, very dear friend of mine who's going through some very, very serious health problems. And we text all the time, and I love to keep his spirits up. I bust his balls because I always will. And when I hear somebody who says, I'm going through, I don't know, I feel anxious, I'm taking my edibles. Let's get in the car, we'll go across town to the east side to Memorial Sloan Kettering. We'll go to cancer wards, to oncology suites. People who are saying goodbye to their loved ones. We'll go to the pediatric oncology suite and see children who are dying of cancer. And I want you to tell them about how you are going through stress with your job, and you have to walk around with your pajamas on and your slides and your little booties and your t-shirts, and you got to order DoorDash and watch Netflix and eat because you're feeling anxious. We are turning into children. And everything that we've been through, every bout of mental illness we've been through and substance abuse, we always have to let people know. No, we are children. We need to butch up, grow a pair, get a backbone, and shut them up. And one more thing. Really think about whether you want to get married. Because marriage is a joke to most people. You've got three people. You got people who are pretending to get married. I'm just saying, seems like it. And other people who, when they do get married, they tell their spouse, "Oh no, I'm absolutely 100% committed to you," and they're not at all. They think, especially a lot of Latin men. I hate to say it, I've seen this firsthand. They think that somehow having a gumano or a pieza or a tipa or some kind of a, some mistress on the side is okay and groovy, and no, it's weird. So we have many, many levels of problems in this country: political, economic, social, but also I think interpersonal. I think we're becoming children, and that's enough of my lecturing for today. Let me tell you something, Lori Cuck. You have been on fire. Carla, thank you so much. Obrigado, thank you, as we say, for your kindness. Here we go. Carla, I forgot this, said, the problem with America, I used to respect judges significantly, but the recent behavior we see in the news and the courtroom is absurd and damaging to the credibility of the entire judiciary. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I can tell you flat out, there are some judges who were absolutely phenomenally great, and they are still there. The majority of the judges are still good. But there are some who are, I'm with you. The judge, the robe, the reverence, it's almost quasi-religious in many respects. All right, my friends, thank you so much. Remember, stay tuned, stay subscribed to Lionel Nation. Do you know that whenever I do a live, all of a sudden subscriptions fall? What's that about? I don't know if somebody's tweaking things. I'm just saying. So I always need your metrics. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for your great time. Also follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. And until we meet each other again, my friends, which will be later on today, have a great time. And don't forget the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.